First contact and dismissal. The sky above Geneva fractured into a kaleidoscope of impossible colors at exactly 1423 Central European Time. A vessel of gleaming blue-silver metal materialized through what scientists would later term a spatial displacement field. It hovered silently, defying gravity and human understanding alike, its hull adorned with intricate patterns that seemed to shift and breathe with an internal rhythm. Dr. Maya Chen stood frozen on the balcony of the United Nations Advanced Sciences Division, her coffee forgotten in her hand. As Earth's leading quantum physicist and the head of the Global Technology Initiative, she had theorized about this moment for years. But theory and reality were vastly different beasts. "My God," whispered Dr. Elijah Okafor beside her, the Nigerian astrophysicist's normally steady hands trembling as he raised his binoculars. "They're really here." The Viridian Alliance had arrived. Within hours, representatives from every major nation gathered in the UN Assembly Hall. Security protocols activated worldwide, military forces mobilized, and the planet held its collective breath. Maya found herself thrust into the center of humanity's most significant moment, seated directly across from beings that were undeniably not human. Ambassador Talos IV of the Viridian Alliance stood nearly 8 feet tall, humanoid but with skin that rippled with bioluminescent patterns. His 4 eyes, arranged in a diamond pattern, scanned the assembly with clinical detachment. Behind him stood 3 other aliens of varying forms, each more extraordinary than the last. "Inhabitants of Earth," the ambassador began, his words translated through a device that floated beside him, producing perfect, accentless English. "The Viridian Alliance represents 843 spacefaring civilizations across this galactic sector. We have observed your development for several of your centuries." The silence in the hall was absolute. Maya noticed how the alien's upper eyes constantly moved, scanning, calculating, while the lower pair remained fixed on the human delegation. "Your technological evolution has been noted," Talos IV continued, a subtle harmonic in his voice that the translator couldn't quite capture. "While impressive for a planetary-bound species, you remain classified as a Category 4 civilization, pre-spatial emergence with limited quantum understanding." Maya felt something cold settle in her stomach. There was something in the way he said Category 4, like describing a moderately interesting insect. President Amara Santiago of the United Global Coalition leaned forward. "We appreciate the Viridian Alliance's interest in Earth. We hope this meeting marks the beginning of peaceful exchange between our civilizations." The alien's skin rippled with patterns of blue and green. "Exchange implies comparable value, President Santiago. The Viridian Alliance operates on principles of galactic efficiency. Your civilization has 2 standard galactic cycles, approximately 7 Earth years, to demonstrate sufficient technological advancement to warrant protected status. And if we don't meet your criteria..." Maya found herself speaking before protocol dictated, earning sharp glances from the diplomatic corps. All 4 of Talos IV's eyes fixed on her. "Then Earth's resources and orbital position will be optimized for more advanced civilizations. Your species would be preserved, of course, relocated to a development preserve." The implication was clear. Prove your worth or be displaced. Humanity, with all its achievements, its art, its history, its dreams of the stars, reduced to a conservation project. "We've prepared an evaluation challenge," Talos IV continued, gesturing to one of his companions who activated a holographic display. "This represents a standard Category 3 technological problem. Solving it would indicate minimal viability for continued independent development." Maya studied the display with growing unease. It showed what appeared to be a propulsion system design, but operating on principles that seemed to violate several laws of physics as humans understood them. "You have 1 Earth year to produce a working prototype," Talos IV stated. "We will return to evaluate your progress." With that, the delegation departed, leaving no room for negotiation or questions. Their ship vanished as mysteriously as it had appeared, leaving only disrupted air currents and a shaken planet behind. In the aftermath, the United Global Coalition established the Survival Technology Initiative, humanity's collective response to the Viridian challenge. Maya found herself appointed as Chief Science Director, working alongside brilliant minds gathered from across the globe. Their headquarters, a repurposed research facility beneath the Swiss Alps, became the epicenter of the most intensive scientific collaboration in human history. "It's impossible," Dr. Hiroshi Tanaka, the renowned Japanese propulsion engineer, declared 3 months into the project. "Their physics operates on principles we haven't even theorized yet. It's like asking Stone Age humans to build a jet engine." Maya studied the latest simulation failure on the massive display wall. 57 separate attempts, each more innovative than the last, each ending in catastrophic theoretical failure. "They designed this challenge knowing we would fail," said Dr. Fatima al-Zahrani, the Egyptian quantum theorist. "It's a test we're meant to lose." Maya paced the length of the lab, her mind racing. What if we're approaching this all wrong? We're trying to replicate their technology using our understanding of physics. "That's the challenge," Elijah pointed out. "No," Maya stopped suddenly. "The challenge is to create a working prototype that achieves the same result. They never said we had to use their methods." This insight sparked a fundamental shift in their approach. Rather than attempting to understand and replicate alien technology, the team began exploring uniquely human solutions. "What makes humans different from the Viridians?" Maya asked during a late-night brainstorming session. "Besides the obvious physical differences," Hiroshi quipped. "Deeper than that," Maya pressed. "They approach everything systematically, logically. Their technology, their communication, even their body language, it's all precise, calculated. While humans are messy, intuitive, and emotional," Fatima added, catching Maya's train of thought. "Exactly," Maya smiled. "And maybe that's not a weakness. Maybe that's our edge." Over the following months, the team developed a revolutionary approach to propulsion that combined quantum entanglement with principles derived from neural network architecture. Rather than forcing particles to behave according to rigid mathematical frameworks, they created systems that could adapt and evolve, technology that could learn. 9 months after the Viridian departure, they achieved their first breakthrough. The prototype, barely the size of a coffee table, generated a displacement field that momentarily altered the gravitational constant within a controlled environment. "It's working on principles the Viridians probably never considered," Elijah marveled, reviewing the data. "We're not fighting against quantum uncertainty, we're harnessing it." By the 11-month mark, they had a functioning prototype that achieved the required effect, using less than half the theoretical energy the Viridian design demanded. But rather than simply replicating the challenge, humanity had created something entirely new. "We call it the adaptive quantum matrix," Maya explained to the assembled world leaders 2 weeks before the Viridian's scheduled return. "Unlike traditional propulsion systems that force particles to behave in predetermined ways, our system establishes a dynamic relationship with quantum reality." President Santiago studied the prototype with cautious optimism. "And you believe this will satisfy their challenge?" "It exceeds their parameters by significant margins," Maya confirmed. "But more importantly, it represents a truly human approach to technology. We're not just copying their homework, we're solving the problem our way." As the day of reckoning approached, humanity prepared its demonstration. The prototype was installed in a test vessel at the Gobi Desert International Space Facility. Scientists, politicians, and military personnel gathered to witness humanity's response to the Viridian challenge. Maya checked the systems one final time before the expected arrival. Her hands trembled slightly, not from fear, but from the weight of possibility. Earth was about to show the stars that humanity would not be so easily dismissed. "They're here," Elijah announced, watching the monitors as the familiar spatial distortion appeared in the sky above. Maya took a deep breath and straightened her shoulders. "Then let's show them what primitive humans can do." Humanity's response. The The Viridian ship descended through cloud cover, its hull catching the morning sunlight with iridescent beauty. It was larger this time, a diplomatic vessel accompanied by what unmistakably appeared to be military escorts, their sleek, predatory designs leaving little doubt as to their purpose. "Confidence-inspiring, isn't it?" muttered General Helena Vasquez, the UN Security Force commander. "They've already decided we failed." Maya watched the ships through the command center's panoramic windows. Maybe, or maybe they're just prepared for any outcome. The Viridian delegation arrived with the same clinical efficiency as before. Ambassador Talasfor seemed almost disappointed to see the assembled human representatives waiting with apparent confidence. "The evaluation period concludes today," he announced without preamble. "Have you prepared a demonstration of your progress?" President Santiago stepped forward. "We have, Ambassador. If you'll follow us to the testing grounds, Dr. Chen will present our response to your challenge." Something flickered across the ambassador's features, perhaps the alien equivalent of surprise. The delegation was escorted to the observation platform overlooking the vast desert testing area. At its center sat what appeared to be a surprisingly small spacecraft, its design elegantly simple compared to the Viridian vessels. Maya took her position at the presentation podium, feeling the weight of every human's future resting on her shoulders. "Ambassador Talasfor, representatives of the Viridian Alliance, 1 year ago, you presented us with a challenge to determine our civilization's worth. Today, we present our solution." She activated the display panel, showing the internal schematics of their prototype. "We call it the adaptive quantum matrix. Rather than forcing particles to conform to rigid mathematical frameworks, our system establishes a dynamic relationship with quantum reality." The Viridian scientists in the delegation leaned forward, their attention suddenly focused. Maya could see their translation devices working overtime, struggling to convert the complex scientific concepts. "Observe," Maya said, signaling the test pilot. The craft powered up, a subtle humming filling the air. There was no dramatic light show, no thunderous roar, just a barely perceptible distortion of the air around the vessel. Then, in an instant, it vanished. "Spatial displacement achieved," reported the test pilot through the communication system. The screens showed the craft now hovering 10 kilometers above its previous position. "Impressive," Talasfor conceded. "You've managed basic displacement technology." "That's just the beginning," Maya replied. "What makes our system unique is its adaptive capabilities." As if on cue, the craft began executing a series of maneuvers that should have been impossible based on conventional physics, moving in patterns that even the Viridian ships couldn't match, transitioning between states with a fluid grace that made the alien vessels seem clumsy by comparison. "The adaptive quantum matrix doesn't just move through space," Maya explained, watching the ambassador's reactions carefully. "It establishes a relationship with it. The more it operates, the more efficient it becomes. It learns." For the first time, Talasfor seemed genuinely surprised. "You've created technology that evolves." "We drew inspiration from our own neural networks," Maya confirmed. "Human brains don't process information like computers. We make intuitive leaps, form unexpected connections. We've applied that principle to quantum mechanics." The demonstration concluded with the craft executing a perfect landing, its systems having optimized performance by 27% during the short flight. The Viridian scientists conferred in their own language, their skin patterns shifting rapidly in what appeared to be agitated debate. Talasfor's upper eyes narrowed as he addressed Maya directly. "This technology, it does not follow established Viridian principles." "No," Maya agreed. "It follows human principles." Something shifted in the atmosphere, a tension that hadn't been there before. The ambassador's posture became rigid, his skin patterns darkening. "The Viridian Alliance has protocols for emergent technologies that deviate from established development paths," he stated. "Your approach to quantum mechanics is concerning." That was when Maya understood. They weren't just impressed. They were afraid. "Your ships," Talasfor continued, his voice harder now. "They are approaching orbit. Military vessels." General Vasquez stepped forward. "A precaution, Ambassador, just as you brought your own escorts." The calculated risk had paid off. While the scientific team had been developing the adaptive quantum matrix, the world's space agencies had secretly been applying the same principles to existing satellite technology. A small fleet of human spacecraft now hovered in low Earth orbit, not nearly as advanced as the Viridian vessels, but carrying the same adaptive technology. "We hoped this would be a peaceful exchange," President Santiago said calmly, "but we prepared for all possibilities." Talos 4's skin rippled with complex patterns. "The Viridian protocols require technologies like yours to be regulated." "Regulated or confiscated?" Maya asked, meeting his four-eyed gaze steadily. For several tense moments, it seemed the situation might escalate into something humanity couldn't possibly win. Then, unexpectedly, Talos 4's posture relaxed. "In 800 years of evaluation missions," he said, his voice carrying a new harmonic, "I have never encountered a Category 4 civilization that responded like this." "Like what?" President Santiago asked. "With innovation rather than imitation." The ambassador turned to his delegation. "Most developing species attempt to copy advanced technology without understanding its principles. You created something new, something we've never seen before." The tension in the room gradually dissipated as the Viridian delegation conferred. Finally, Talos 4 addressed the human representatives again. "The Viridian Alliance formally recognizes Earth as a Category 2 civilization, with unique developmental patterns." His skin rippled with what might have been amusement. "Your classification defies standard protocols, but your approach to quantum mechanics merits special consideration." Maya couldn't believe what she was hearing. They had not only passed the test, but had apparently reset the parameters entirely. "What does that mean for Earth?" President Santiago asked cautiously. "It means, President Santiago, that the Viridian Alliance offers Earth protected status and limited technological exchange. Your species has demonstrated exceptional adaptive capability, a trait the Alliance has found valuable in previous encounters." The implications were enormous. Earth wouldn't just be spared, it would be welcomed, conditionally, into a community of spacefaring civilizations. "There will be restrictions," Talos 4 continued. "Your technology must develop under certain guidelines, but you will be permitted to explore your own solar system, and established trade routes will be opened for cultural and scientific exchange." As the formal negotiations began, Maya stepped away from the diplomatic tables. She found herself standing at the observation window, looking out at the prototype craft that had changed humanity's destiny. Elijah joined her, his expression a mixture of relief and wonder. "So we're not being relocated to a development preserve after all." Maya smiled. "I think we gave them something they weren't expecting. A primitive species that doesn't know its place," he suggested with a wry smile. "No," Maya replied, watching as human and alien representatives began the careful dance of diplomatic relations. "A species that doesn't follow the expected development path. We didn't try to be like them. We embraced what makes us different." In the months that followed, Earth began its cautious integration into the larger galactic community. The adaptive quantum matrix became the foundation for a new era of human technological development, with applications far beyond space travel. Viridian representatives established a permanent embassy in Geneva, and human scientists were invited to study at Viridian research institutions. Cultural exchanges began, tentatively at first, then with growing enthusiasm on both sides. 1 year after the demonstration, Maya found herself aboard a Viridian diplomatic vessel orbiting Earth. Ambassador Talos 4 stood beside her at the observation deck. "You know what," he said, his voice carrying that strange harmonic quality. "There was significant debate within the Alliance about approaching Earth. Some argued your species was too unpredictable, too emotional to join the galactic community safely." "And what did you think?" Maya asked. The ambassador's skin rippled with patterns she had learned to recognize as thoughtfulness. I believed you were primitive, limited by your biological constraints and emotional reasoning. He turned his 4 eyes toward her. I have never been so pleased to be proven wrong. Below them, Earth rotated slowly, its blue oceans and swirling clouds a stark contrast to the void of space. Once dismissed as primitive, humanity had earned its place among the stars, not by becoming like other advanced species, but by embracing the very qualities others had seen as limitations. The Alliance has encountered many species, Talos IV continued. Some warlike, some peaceful, some highly logical, others deeply spiritual. But few have demonstrated humanity's particular gift for turning disadvantage into opportunity. Maya smiled. We've had plenty of practice. Being underestimated can be a powerful advantage. As the ship continued its orbit, Maya reflected on the journey that had brought humanity to this moment. They had faced extinction and emerged not just survivors, but innovators, pioneers of a technology that even ancient spacefaring civilizations found remarkable. The stars no longer seemed so distant, nor the universe so intimidating. Humanity had proven itself not by mimicking the achievements of others, but by charting its own unique course among the countless civilizations that called the galaxy home. Earth, once dismissed as primitive, had become something far more interesting, a world of possibilities that even the Viridian Alliance couldn't predict.